Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, and today I'm going to be talking about refined carbohydrates and acne, so the relationship between the two. If that's something that you're interested about or you are an acne struggler, definitely continue to take a listen. Okay, I feel like I haven't recorded a podcast in so long, and that probably is because I haven't. You guys know, if you listen regularly, I always upload every Monday. And normally what I'll do is I will pre-record episodes all together. So I'll do like 3 episodes in one day and then upload them later. So yeah, it's been a minute. But yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that this topic is something that I've already touched on to my audience, but maybe you don't follow me on Instagram. So, yeah, if you're curious and you like to see visuals and actually like typed out information, then definitely go on my Instagram, scroll down, find that post. But yeah, this is something that isn't very well known for people that aren't acne specialists, but this definitely is a huge trigger for me personally. And when I found out that this was a trigger, I started to limit that, and my acne cleared up so much. And when I was actually struggling with acne, probably at one of its worst moments, I was working right next door to a coffee shop, and I would literally get a pastry every single day, and I guarantee you that is what was causing such angry acne for me. But the relationship between refined carbohydrates and acne, we're going to get more into that. So first, I want to kind of explain for people who may not know what carbohydrates are. They're an essential factor in our nutrition, of course, but in excess, like many things, it can create some issues, most primarily relating to skincare. Acne is what I'm going to be talking about. So there are 2 different types of carbohydrates. There are simple or bad carbohydrates, and then there are complex or healthy hydrates. So I'm going to talk about the ones that can create acne for you. So the ones that are quote unquote bad, these are the ones that you want to limit if you are health conscious and if you are prone to acne. So simple carbohydrates. These are refined grains and sugars that spike your insulin levels quickly. If you're not familiar with what insulin is, sugar. So they spike your insulin levels quickly, creating conditions that exacerbate acne. So as your insulin levels increase, so do the androgen hormone and also another substance known as IGF-1, which is found in dairy. So androgen and the IGF-1 hormone are really commonly known to exacerbate acne, cause acne. So yeah, that's what happens as your insulin levels increase. So do those too. So yeah, like I said, that combo together, it causes your skin cells to grow at a faster rate, and it increases sebum or oil production as well. So, of course, when your skin cells are growing at a faster rate, you are having that buildup, that keratinization, blockages, increase in sebum, that is going to fuel acne to form. And yeah, that's not good. So you definitely want to reduce your intake of simple carbohydrates. And I'll get more into specifically what some examples of simple carbohydrates are in a second. So I do want to mention that we only need about 130 grams of carbs per day. So high carb diets have been connected to a higher risk of chronic disease, decreased physical activity, and obesity. Not touching on just skincare, those are some other things that a high carb diet can do. So, however, carb quality has been shown to play a more critical role in health than the amount of carbs. So that's where complex carbohydrates or healthy carbohydrates come in. So, of course, they are essential to our nutrition, but if we are ingesting a higher quality one, that's more critical. That's a more critical role in our health than the amount that we're intaking. So the bad or simple carbs, I'm going to get into that. These include sugars and refined grains that have been stripped basically of all bran, fiber, and nutrients. Some of these examples are white bread. If you're eating a lot of sandwiches with white bread, that is a huge, huge trigger. So white bread, pizza dough, pasta, pastries, that's what caused it for me. White flour, white rice, sweet desserts, and many breakfast cereals. So the thing with these simple carbs or bad carbs, these low quality carbs, they digest quickly and their high glycemic index causes an unhealthy spike in our blood sugar levels, like I already mentioned before. So that is kind of why you want to limit those. And another part with them digesting quickly is you might eat a blueberry muffin and then an hour later you're still going to be hungry, because they do digest so quickly. Your insulin levels is spiking and then you're going to need something else to eat. So that's where it can cause weight gain, obesity, things like that. And don't get me wrong, I am a sucker for bad carbs or simple carbs. I love a good pastry, but I really, really am focused on my health. So I choose to be very selective with how often I do ingest foods that are not optimal for my body. So moving on, I want to get into the higher quality carbs or the complex carbs. So these are going to be, I'm going to give you some examples of these. So, like I said, if you eat sandwiches a lot with white bread, you might want to substitute that. So you can substitute that with like whole wheat bread, or my personal favorite is multigrain bread, brown rice instead of white rice, starchy and non-starchy vegetables. So like sweet potatoes, those are really great. Beans, like kidney beans, chickpeas, fruits, actually, oats, quinoa, chia seeds. Those are all really great complex carbohydrates. So out of those, I really do like quinoa. And then something that's not on this list, but I believe this is also a complex carbohydrate, is oh my gosh, I'm having a complete brain fart. It's similar to, and I make it all, couscous. Oh my gosh, couscous. I love couscous. I make that in a meal at least once a week. So yeah, those are some things, and you can always do a Google search and try and find out what is a good complex carbohydrate for yourself. And then you can implement that into your diet more regularly, and then cut out other simple carbs that aren't great for you. So I didn't do a really long list of what simple carbs are, but I also wanted to mention, I said like dessert foods. So of course, like you would think about cakes, snack cakes, cookies, but also like sweetened drinks, non-diet sodas. Those are going to be ones as well. And so when I talked about pasta, that's white pasta. So instead you could do like a whole grain pasta. That'll be a little bit more of a complex carbohydrate and essentially a little bit healthier. I do love white pasta actually. And so because I don't really consume it too often, I don't feel the need to substitute it. So that's just me. Really my Achilles heel is sweetened drinks. I am really good about drinking water. Like I've been drinking just water with mint leaf in it, or water with like some berries infused in mint leaf. But all I need is one sweetened drink, and then it just is like over for me. And the rest of that week, I'm continuing to drink sweet drinks until I start to feel like, okay, this is obviously getting addicting and I need to stop. So that is really hard for me when I do indulge in it. It's hard for me to remove that. So things like that personally are best for me to just like ex-nay altogether. So I don't keep any sweet drinks in my house for that reason. But if I got to eat and I get a Dr. Pepper, then like the whole rest of the week, if I ever got to eat again, I'm going to continue to get Dr. Peppers and things like that because it becomes addicting to me so quickly. So yeah, that's just some advice on something that may work for you. If you have like a food item like that you know is not healthy for you and it is exacerbating your acne, make sure to not have that in your house. Just like take it away altogether. Alright guys, so those are some quick facts on the relationship between refined carbohydrates and acne. I hope maybe you learned something today. Follow me on my podcast Instagram, Elevated Beauty Podcast. Let me know if there's something you'd like to hear or just some commentary on this episode. So as always, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next Monday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another episode.